Hello and welcome to Bruce Springsteen Guitar Lessons. Today's lesson is going to be Raise Your Hand. This is from an Amnesty International show in 1988. Thanks very much to patron Armed Brandel for the request. Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. So now what we'll do is go through all the individual parts. Okay, so the bulk of this song is in D major. Tempo is approximately 120 BPM. Now Bruce doesn't actually play guitar in this song. This is the kind of live version. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in Raise Your Hand live, Amnesty International 1988. It's a brilliant live version. We're going to be focusing on what Niels is doing and also Stevie in other videos as well that I've seen online. There's also a lot of audience participation in this, where he's sort of talking to the crowd and geeing them up and things like that. And those big breaks, I haven't really put much of them in the backing tracks, otherwise there's going to be lots of gaps, you know, in the walkthrough and the backing tracks. So I've just kept those to kind of 1 bar minimum. But if you're playing this in a band, things like that, you might want to sort of embellish on that. Okay, cool. So let's look at the chords first. So we've got C major. There's a nice, you know, in the big build up of the intro. We've got A major. Okay, then we also got an F sharp minor. This is actually an F sharp minor over C. It's quite a common chord that Bruce actually plays. So 4th fret A string, 4th fret D, and then barring the 2nd fret and the G being the E strings. So this is actually called an F sharp minor over C sharp, but in the song structure, which I'll put up on the screen now, I just referred to it as an F sharp minor. So hopefully you enjoy the song structure. This will be in the description as well, help you to kind of piece together the song and all the different sections. Okay, so then we've also got a D triad. Now, a lot of the main riffs, he's kind of playing kind of a funky sounding D. So here what you want to do is bar the 7th fret on the D, the G and the B strings. And then you've also got a G over B triad. So there's kind of a lot of this main riff, all that sort of stuff that he's doing, which is in the bulk of the song. So the second chord is a G over B. What you're going to do is going to keep that bar down, because it's going to be interchanging between this D chord, D triad, and then the G over B. So what you're going to do is put your 3rd finger 9th fret D, then you've also got the 7th fret G, and then middle finger 8th fret B. Okay, so it's a really nice kind of Rolling Stones type chord. And it kind of forms a bulk of this song, those 2 chords actually. So those are the 2 that you really want to nail. Okay, and then you also got in the kind of chorus sections, I think what's happening is a G bar chord. Okay, so that's 3, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3. Okay, standard E-shaped bar chord, F major, E-shaped bar chord. So that's 1, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. E major. I just use it here with my 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers, because it means I can just slide down. Standard E major chord, 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 0. And then also I think what's happening is there's a kind of chromatic kind of run, the kind of sax and stuff. I had an interesting time trying to do some sax on this walkthrough, because with the Logic. So here what we've got is E flat, bar chord, A shape, root note, 6th fret A string, 6, and then I'm barring using my 3rd finger to bar the D, the G and the B strings. So 6, that's an 8, 8, 8 on the D, G and the B strings. Arc your finger so you can play the 6th fret of the E as well. And then you also got a G5. I think something on those lines is used in the middle 8 section. Bruce uses this chord a lot. So middle finger 3rd fret E, block the A string out, then open D, open G, use your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret B, a little finger on the 3rd fret E, so that's G5. Okay, let's take a look at the intro section. So what we've got here is kind of a lot of the instruments are kind of building up while Bruce is talking to the audience and things like that. So what I've suggested is basically 4 bars of C, which is roughly what's happening. So 4 bars of C, and then using 16th notes or semiquavers, and just going 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. So I'm going to do 4 bars of that. Again, it can be a little bit loose if you're playing this live. 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander. Okay, so that's 1 E-ander, 2 E-ander, 3 E-ander, 4 E-ander, and do that for 4 bars. Again, it's a lot of audience participation here. And they're going to do the same thing. It's roughly 6 bars with an A major chord. So again, Bruce often bars it with his 1st finger, so middle 4th string, so roughly about 6 bars of this. Again, Bruce is talking to the audience as well, and this is going on. And then there's a bit of a break, so I've just put a 1 bar break here, and the cues in max with the drums, you know, the snare, and he's coming in with F sharp minor. So this is the F sharp minor over C sharp, and just F sharp in minor in the song structure. So do another 6 bars of this, 2, 3, 4, Cool. And then he stops, and then he cues up Niels to do the opening riff, which before everyone comes in. So what's happening here? 7th fret D string, and you can in the video you can see Niels tapping his foot to cue in the rest of the band. So you're going to basically go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so you're coming in on the and of 4, so the and of 4, 7th fret D, hammer on to the 8th fret D. Okay, so go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5th fret, bit of a vibrato on the G string for 2 beats. 1, 2, 7th fret for half a beat, then half beat rest, and on the beat 4, you've got this kind of slide from 7 to 8, grace note slide. Okay, so just do that whole of those 2 bars. It's kind of like the intro riff. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the whole band comes in. So what you've got here is this, I'm going to call this kind of the main riff, okay? So this is where you've got all the sort of sax parts coming over the top, really funky kind of sounding riff. Now this main riff happens at the end of the intro, then also happens once in the first break. Again, feel free to cross-reference with the song structure. And then also happens twice in the second break and also in the outro as well, which we'll go through a little bit later. So basically you've got this 4-bar riff, and let's just go through that. So you've got the D over A. So what you've got here, 2 downstrokes, 1, 2. So the first one, normal crotchet or quarter note, lasts for 1 beat. Second one, you want to kind of snap it, sort of staccatos, which is where there's a dot above the note. 1, 2. Okay, so 1, 2, and then again, he will vary this up quite a lot. I think this is roughly what he's doing for the most part. So feel free to change it up a little bit, especially if you're playing this in a band. And then you've got down up on the G over B. So 3 and then you've got suggested some dead notes. Okay, so where you're muting the strings. So you've got this 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's 3 quavers in a row there with the 3 and 4, and then do an upstroke on the 7th fret D, G, and B. Don't forget with these kind of tries, a lot of the challenge is actually using your other fingers to block out the other strings. So there I'm kind of arcing my first finger to block out the E string. My first finger is touching the A string, and I'm using my thumb to block out the E, because that's the key with these kind of things, is you don't want any other strings ringers, just those 3, okay? So let's play that first bar of this main 4-bar riff. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. That's going to tie into the next bar, and they're going to come in on bar. So for the next 2 bars, it's going to be the same. So that last D over A chord is tied into the next bar for 1 beat, and they're going to go 1, 2, and then do the same thing. So 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, and then the 4th bar. You're just going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just going to finish off this 4-bar loop. Okay, so we're going to do this twice at the end of the intro, once in the first break, and twice in the second break, as well as the outro, which we'll go through in a bit. So that 4-bar riff, nice and slowly. Okay, so this is the really cool, funky kind of pattern. So going 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do that with the down and up strokes now. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Cool. So that's the main riff that we're going to be using the breaks and at the end of the intro. Cool. So we'll also go through the verse riffs. Now the verse riff, he'll change this up a little bit, but this is the sort of pattern I can hear the most. So again, everything's sort of slightly brought down a little bit after those kind of big sounding riff sections we just went through. Obviously Bruce is singing as well. So for this verse riff, again, this is going to be a 2-bar loop. Again, feel free to embellish it. 2-bar loop 4 times for each verse. Okay, so it's 8 bars in total, each verse section. So first verse, second verse, and then third verse. Okay, so what I suggest here is coming in beat 2, so resting beat 1, 1, 2, and then starting off the same sort of way, 1, 2, and then the G over B, down up again, then a mute, and I think he's doing some sort of pentatonic riff, D major pentatonic, so you can feel free to embellish it and add some things here and there after those chords, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it sounds like he's doing something like this on the and of 4, 7th fret, bit of vibrato on the G string, and then that ties into the next bar, and you're playing it again on beat 2. Okay, you can kind of sort of snap it short if you want as well. So you've got this 2-bar phrase, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Again, feel free to add some stuff from the D major pentatonic as well that you might be doing occasionally. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and do that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. Cool, so that's the verse section, so not too crazy. Again, it's all about getting those triads sounding nice, the nice kind of snappy, making sure they sound really clean, getting some of those dead notes in there as well, and vibrato. Okay, so let's now take a look at the chorus sections. So basically what we've got is this 2-bar phrase that happens in the first and then the second chorus, and in the third chorus there's a bit more going on. So the first and second chorus, again, 2-bar riff. You're going to do the G major chord, 2 downstrokes, quarter notes or crotchets, so 1, 2, and then move down to the F major for 2 quavers or 8th notes, and then down up, and then it's tied, the second one's tied for half a beat, and then it allows you to do an upstroke on the E major at the end of the bar. So you got this, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then that's tied into the next bar for 1 beat. You're going to do a downstroke there. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. And you've got E flat major with a downstroke, down and up, and then I suggested a mute on beat 4. Okay, so in terms of timing wise, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. In terms of strumming, down and up strokes, you're going to go down, 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 up, down, down, up. Again, you've got all those cool kind of descending kind of sax parts as well. So and so on. Cool, so that's the main 2-bar phrase that's in the first and the second chorus. Now in the third chorus, you've got this 16-bar build-up. So Max is going sort of building up semi-quavers, 16th notes on the snare, and he's obviously getting audience participation. So it's a real big build-up. And basically it's very similar to kind of our main riff. It's going to do a 1-bar phrase. Okay, the bass is kind of doing that on the D note. I think it's quite good to carry on with this riff because you can still hear it, I think. So 7, 7, 7, so our D over E chord, down, down, and then the G over B, down, up, same as before. Then I do a downstroke on the first half of beat, a mute on the beat 4, and do an upstroke on the D over A, and then it allows you to loop that round. So down, 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 up, down, up, and then you loop it round. So in terms of timing, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and then just loop it round. So do 16 rounds of there. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, bar 2. Or everything else is kind of building up on the drums. So, so you do 16 rounds of that, and it's exactly 16 rounds. Cool. Then after you've done those 16 rounds, again, this third chorus, you're going to do the first kind of bar of that 2-bar phrase. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then what you've got is this is where Max goes crazy on the drums. It's also again a bit of a build up again. Saxophones are kind of improvising it a little bit. So it all goes kind of a bit loud, and then it stops to go into the outro. And basically what you want to do is it's roughly 10 bars, I'm not sure if it's exact, but it's roughly 10 bars of just building up while Max goes crazy on the drums. So again, same as we did in the intro, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, or you can just vary up, it doesn't have to be exact, to 10 bars of that. Okay, cool, and then you've got 1 bar rest, again, it'll be slightly more than a real thing, because Bruce is talking to the audience again, getting them G'd up, and then going into the outro. So I'll just quickly go through the whole of the third chorus. Okay, so G, F, E, E flat, and then 1, 2, 3, let's pretend we're on 15, 16, and then G, F, build up 10 bars, and then that 1 bar or however many bars rest until you go into the outro section. Okay, so let's now take a look at the outro section. So what we've got is that main kind of 4-bar riff 4 times. So this one here, the 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. Of course, you do that 4 times. And then you're going to just start the chorus off again. So you do the 2 bars of that main chorus riff. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then again you've got this kind of big build up, like we've had in the intro and other parts of the song. On a D major here, so just D major bar chord was fast, and you do that roughly 6 times. And he's talking to the audience. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and then he kind of signals to the band, jumps up in the air like he normally does, and then finish on the D. Cool, so that's the outro section. So that's all the parts. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. If you've enjoyed it, any comments or suggestions, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Please subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications if you haven't already. Also, if you'd like to get any backing tracks, guitar PDFs, guitar profiles, also any guitar solo videos, the last 6 months have been on Patreon, but what I'm doing now is actually moving over to Subscribestar. So that's subscribestar.com/Bruce Springsteen Guitar. So it's exactly the same as Patreon. It's just, I think, a slightly better platform, I think. So again, if you want to get all these extra videos, requests, things like that, even one-to-one lessons, head over there and check that out. There's lots of videos on there, and I always message people on there. If anybody has any questions about Subscribestar, feel free to let me know. Again, you can also get extra tab and chord diagrams during the breakdown section of these videos. So it'd be like we had in the walkthrough, the tab pop up on the screen, you'll have that throughout this. So they're available to all Subscribestars. So feel free to check that out. Thanks again, Arnd, for the request, and I'll see you next week. Cheers, bye.